Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Grassroots Racer. I've been lucky enough to speak with a few different drivers now from overseas, and this week's guest is all the way from America, where he races the TCR Michelin Pilot Challenge. As a Hyundai factory driver, although he is no longer a grassroots racer, he has progressed to become a professional racing driver. He's also the founder of the world's first marketplace for races called Open Fender, which is an awesome way to support grassroots racers and keep them racing. I'm sure he'll tell us more about that soon. I'm really excited to speak to you, Mason. How are you tonight, Mason?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's awesome to be able to talk with you. I know we've connected over Instagram a few times, but working with these different time zones, it's really nice to be able to talk to you and jump on Grassroots Racer.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me, Mason. Now, it's a bit of a coincidence that we have the same last name, but have you got any Italian heritage like me, or?
Yeah, so my family's from northern Italy, and I can't remember the exact town, but that's kind of our heritage over there. But yeah, I know it's funny having the same last name, and then there's a couple more Filippis out there that race too, that I've been able to meet over there in Italy and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm not sure where my family's based, but we're definitely from Italy as well. And it's great to find someone with the same last name who also races. But to start off, what inspired you to start racing, and what did you start out racing when you were younger?
I just always loved anything with a motor from when I was probably 3.5 years old. So I remember just riding on the handlebars of my dad's bike as soon as I could hold on. And then after that, I got into dirt biking or motocross. When I was 4 years old, I started riding. And then I kind of carried that to karting when I was about 10 and a half, 11 years old. And then I karted for a few years, did Supernats. And then after that, I moved to 𝘎𝘂𝘴𝘳𝘳, where I ran. It was just me and my dad. We drove all over the state and did teen miles the challenge and everything like that. And so that was really fun. And then after 𝘎𝘂𝘴𝘳𝘳, I went to MX5 Cup. In that same year, I ran a couple races in TCA in the World Challenge, which is now called SRO America. And after that, I went from TC to TCR, and I ran a Honda, I ran a Volkswagen, and then now I'm running for Hyundai. That's when I moved over to IMSA for the last few years.
Yeah, that's really cool. So let's go from the near the start, where you said you did karting. So you said you did that for a couple of years, and did you race for a certain team?
Yeah, so I was racing with Zanardi, and Arie Luyendyk Jr. and Chad Brassfield are our team owners. And it was really cool to work with them and learn from some experienced drivers. And Arie Luyendyk Sr. was also there with us at Supernats, so it was really cool to wrench on the cart with them and learn from a few amazing people.
I have the Zanardi karts over here, and they were really popular for a while, but I haven't been involved in karting, so I don't know if they're around still. But you said you moved into Miatas, so was it a big learning curve racing nationals in your first year when you started racing the Miatas?
It was a big learning curve, I think, but karting teaches you so much in how to kind of pass and how to all the racecraft stuff. And so as soon as you get into a car, maybe it's learning how to drive stick in the parking lot before you're sent down track the first time. But stuff like that was a little bit new, and having suspension, right, and just a big heavy car. So I definitely went through a few front and rear bumpers in my first year of 𝘎𝘂𝘴𝘳𝘳, but it continued on to do pretty good with it.
When you made the move to the Team Mazda Championship, was that when you sort of realized that it's not a kart anymore? And was there a big difference between just the Miatas and the Team Mazda Championship?
So the Team Mazda Championship and the Miatas, they were kind of the same car. And so it was just a really competitive year in the Team Mazda Challenge. And so it was quite fun and also quite challenging to, make sure you get the results for that championship as you're traveling to tracks you've never been to before. And so coming from karting, you always go to, for example, Lancaster GP, which is something I never even saw. And then you're able to learn that, and being young, you're able to kind of adapt pretty fast. And so it was definitely fun. And a lot of bump drafting, a lot of last lap passes, but it was a good time.
Yeah, definitely it'd be lots of fun. So you did mention there was something after Mazda. What was that, did you say?
It was a MX5 Cup. So after you win Team Mazda Challenge, you can move to do the shootout called Mazda Road to 24. And so I was really fortunate enough to get invited to that. And after that, I did the MX5 Cup, which was in the brand new Mazda chassis, the ND. And so it was the first year of that, and it was quite a blast. And so it was a little bit faster of a Miata. And so I was able to kind of learn the beginner ranks of pro racing there, and then move to TCA after that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tell me a bit about TCA and what's involved.
So yeah, TCA basically takes a road car and then turns it into a race car. And so it's a pretty competitive class over here in the US, where a lot of people maybe don't have the budget to run TCR, but they're able to run TCA and kind of work their way up and get sponsors and learn a lot in TCA to move up to something like TCR.
So would you say it's maybe something like F2 or Indy Lights, maybe?
Yeah, I would say it's probably more like a F3, F4. Yeah. So maybe in the touring car ranks, it's like an F3, and then after TCA you have F2, which is TC, and then TCR, which I would say is more like F1 in terms of touring car. Yeah.
Yeah, the TCR Australia is actually becoming a lot more popular in the last few years, and it's a really cool series to be involved in. Do you have any favorite tracks, and what do you like about them?
Oh man, I have quite a few favorite tracks. I mean, the IMSA schedule is so great. One of my favorites is Mossport, which is actually up in Canada. I don't know if you've driven it on the sim at all, but it's a really high speed, really flowing track. And so the TCR car, you get to just kind of flirt with just the edge of chaos the entire lap. And so it's a lot of fun when you're kind of coming down these fifth gear, sixth gear corners. And so definitely one of my favorites, as well as Road Atlanta is a really good one.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Motorsport and Road Atlanta. Those actually, I don't have them on the sim, but I'm looking to get Road Atlanta because they're always racing around there. But let's just quickly talk about this. You've developed this really cool sponsorship marketplace for drivers called Open Fender. So how'd you come up with the idea, and can you tell me more about how it works?
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, I set up this journey to create a sponsorship marketplace. It's called Open Fender. And when I was coming through Spec Miata, I always needed sponsors, and it was really hard to market yourself and kind of use the internet to get sponsors. And so 2 years ago, my dad and I were sitting there like, man, like what if we were able to create something for us back when we needed to find sponsors for every weekend that would just make that whole entire process easier. And so the way it works is Open Fender, you go online, you create an account. After you create an account, you get a profile page which has all of your social media, has a boost function so your fans can support you and boost you through your racing career, and then also a campaign section. So with the campaign, you can choose the fenders for any motorsports vehicle, from bike, kart, car to GT cars, Formula cars, anything like that. And you can sell your fender that's available, or maybe it's your front bumper, or you can even do a custom product. So you could sell a shout out on Instagram, or you could sell maybe a live signing of something, or maybe an experience at the track for a sponsor. And so the idea is to create a tool for racers to be able to market themselves and push it to sponsors, and then give the sponsor an easier way of working with the racer.
That's a really cool idea, Mason. I know my mum has already been setting up an account for me, and she's been watching your videos on how to maximize the best way to use it. So I can, campaign myself and race the Formula V, which I really want to. But can anyone set up an account worldwide?
Yeah, so anyone worldwide can set up an account. And so everything was built for everyone. So, I'm here in the US, but we have drivers like you in Australia, or some in New Zealand, or some in Europe and South America even. And so it's really meant for everyone, even e-racers that are looking for sponsors, maybe to get that next equipment, or maybe they need to get more iRacing dollars and want to compete in like the 24 hours on iRacing. So it's really built for any motorsports passionate driver who just needs sponsors and needs help from their fans.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone will add some links in the description so you know where to find it, and hopefully go set up your profile, and you can show businesses where they can help you, and it's a really good idea. But do you have any sponsors that you'd like to thank, Mason?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to thank Hyundai has been a great sponsor for me in the last couple of years, and also Open Fender. It's been awesome. But also I definitely want to thank my family for being able to support me through my entire racing career and helping me just fulfill my passion, teaching me about sponsorship, teaching me about budgeting, teaching me about how much work you have to put into something if you want to win. So it's definitely been an amazing journey.
And what's your Instagram page for Open Fender and your own one, so my fans can come and follow you as well?
Yeah, no, thank you. So my page for Open Fender is going to be @OpenFender on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And then my Instagram is @MasonFilippi. No underscores or anything like that, just one word.
And do you do any sim racing yourself, Mason?
So I don't sim race on that often, but I definitely do compete in the IMSA sim races with IMSA series over here in the US. And then probably a few times a week I race with my teammates. And so I definitely want to get on the sim with you, and we could have some fun, maybe some Formula V's. I don't know if you've tried Mount Washington yet.
No, I really want to get the track. Hold on, maybe, yeah, I'll definitely get it soon. I'll do some things around the house to get it. But yeah, I'd love to jump on with you, Mason, and cut a few laps. And the Formula V is a gun to drive, so it's really similar to real life as well. Just before we wrap it up, do you have any drivers or categories of racing you follow, as in Australia, America, and IndyCar? Like, there's a driver called Scott McLaughlin. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's one of my favorite drivers, and he's doing pretty well as a rookie this year. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, definitely heard of Scott McLaughlin. He's doing awesome in IndyCar. It's been really cool because I watched him in V8 Supercars, and then I was really excited to see his announcement with IndyCar. And so IndyCar has been incredibly competitive this year, and it's been awesome to watch.
Do you have a favorite V8 Supercar team?
Man, that's really hard for me. I don't know. I kind of follow the drivers more, but there's this, actually, I believe, one driver. He competed in a few races, but I was able to meet him in person up at HMSG in Germany. I think his name is Will Brown, and so he was really cool, and so I follow him sometimes. But Scott McLaughlin was one of my favorites to watch.
Yeah, this family is a bit of a Ford family, and my brother definitely loves Cam Waters and is hoping he can win the championship this year. It's been great speaking to you tonight, Mason, and I love what you're doing with Open Fender, and hopefully Grassroots racers out there can jump on board and check it out. Good luck with the rest of your racing season, and I hope we can catch up again in the future, and maybe we'll start looking out for each other when I'm overseas with you.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Thank you so much for having me on Grassroots Racer. It's been awesome talking to you and meeting with you. I'm sure we'll do a few laps around the sim, which will be really fun. So I really appreciate it, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mason. But on a serious note, I really appreciate you taking your time as well, because I know you're a very busy guy. And thanks again. And remember, everyone, drive fast and take chances.